this. I mean, I don't know if there were any companies in Houston that didn't take a look during that period. And what's really exciting was, other than Google and other than these newspaper sites, the number one source of traffic that we had was emails. So we had mail servers that were just sending us thousands and thousands of visits. And of course, people talk about viral in the website space. But we had viral, and we weren't really planning to do viral. But it was just such the right product at the right time that it was like a powder keg, and we had this viral distribution take off. And we had people telling us that they literally just sent this email out to thousands of employees at their oil refinery or at NASA Houston or wherever it was. And so we're seeing hundreds of thousands of new visitors coming to the site in Houston, in Texas, and in the Gulf Coast states. And of course, that was our prime audience that we were excited to reach. So in late 2008, we looked at these millions of visitors and said, what are we going to do now? Because we want Stormpulse to stick around, and we want it to be a company that's going to create great products for a long time. And we know that we need to pay our bills, and we know that we need to hire more people. So how are we going to turn this into a business? And when you see millions of people visiting your website, the first thought you might have is like the Weather Channel, hey, we're going to get into advertising. And advertising does pay, and it pays fairly well. And so I put on my advertising salesman hat and started selling ads to companies, and spent 2009 doing some advertising sales. But even though the traffic was good, especially during those spikes, we really didn't have that kind of massive year-round audience that we needed to really grow a revenue stream from that. So we knew we had something super valuable, but we also realized that we didn't have the kind of advertising traffic that you need to have to really grow a business off of advertising alone. So in the middle of 2009, we released our first version of a pro subscription to the site. We called it Stormpulse Advanced. It was actually the first premium subscription. And we had about 1,000 people sign up for that the first year, which felt pretty good. We were charging $19.95 for a 6-month subscription. And we were really fortunate to have consumers that backed us early on and said, I love Stormpulse, I love what you guys are doing. I really want to help you guys out and see this business take off. And so we kept bootstrapping this company, thanks to their support. And that year, made enough money for me not to have to go back to my day job. I actually quit my day job at the Palm Beach Post and haven't looked back since, which has been fantastic. Has allowed me to focus fully on Stormpulse and making it better and better. Then in 2010, we said, what we did in 2009 was great, but we really want to kick it up a notch. We know that we have a lot of Fortune 500 companies and large enterprises and even small businesses using the site. And so what can we offer businesses that will really help them manage their weather risk? And one of the things that came to mind was weather alerting. So in 2010, we really focused on our weather alerting product, taking it from where it was in 2009, which was basically the bare bones version of a weather alerting system, being able to put in your location, tell you when a hurricane's coming. But in 2010, the National Weather Service has hundreds of weather alerts that they're publishing all the time, severe thunderstorms and flash floods and tornadoes and blizzards. And in 2010, we spent a considerable amount of time taking the site from just a tropical weather service to a year-round severe weather service and even a daily weather service. And in doing that, we attracted a lot of interest for our alerting software so that we could start telling companies, it doesn't matter how many sites you have across the United States, we'll tell you when severe weather is hitting your sites and facilities. And so that was really a driving factor in 2010 that helped us figure out that businesses really put a big premium on what we were doing for them. And that was the same year that we found out that people were running us in their operations centers, big screens and projectors all over the country and data centers all over the world. And they were spending hours a day on Stormpulse. And so in 2010, we realized that we were becoming essentially the weather channel for businesses. So we were giving businesses their own dedicated weather channel that they could run anytime, day or night. And then also something that we realized is because we'd spent so much time appealing to consumers early on, people that are not meteorologists, we found out that the kind of people that we were appealing to within these companies, they weren't the typical GIS or mapping or advanced weather experts. They were line executives and managers and operations folks that use the weather on a daily basis on their smartphones, their BlackBerries out in the field, and then people that are using it on their iPads and in boardrooms all over the country. So, our audience really expanded, our understanding of our audience really expanded from citizens to people at companies to decision makers at companies. And in late 2010, we realized that we really wanted to focus on this business customer. In 2011, as we were shifting away from consumers, well, we did one last hurrah. We started selling lifetime subscriptions. So anybody that was a big supporter of ours early on, we did appreciate them getting us through those years and helping us to figure out this business. We still offer the free site, so anybody and everybody can still use the free site. But we knew we wanted to give those supporters, a last chance to sign on for a lifetime subscription to Stormpulse. So we sold quite a few of those, and I see those as kind of the kernel of our fan base, which really we've always had great grassroots support. The testimonials have been overwhelming. So in 2011, we pivoted, as the phrase is, in the startup world, completely to B2B and started selling business subscriptions this year. And I think that at this point we've created the best, if not the only, web-based weather system that you can use to sign up your company in 10 minutes and get going with a weather system that provides you with a full screen view, that's your dedicated weather channel, a mobile platform that you can use on your iPad that shows you the same experience that you have on the website you've got on your iPad, and then also gives you that weather alerting system that we built from scratch that gives you completely customized weather alerts. And the feedback from that has been phenomenal. And Stormpulse as a business has grown. We hired 4 people this year, so grew from for 5 years it was just 2 guys in a garage, and Brad and I built the entire system from scratch. So I figure we wrote about probably about 80,000 lines of code between the front and the back end. And that took us about 20,000 hours of time. And during that 20,000 hours, we earned probably about well, just enough to keep running, let's put it that way. I have 4 children. All of those were born during the Stormpulse era. So raising them and paying for all those expenses, we barely made it. But we did make it. And so our bootstrapping story has been an epic saga, going from 2 guys just with an idea, me with just an idea, listening to my iPod on the way to work, or these podcasts, just thinking, how am I going to create a business out of this? Creating something that, a product that was better than anything else in the market, getting distribution, figuring out a business model, and now providing a free site that's still used by about 5 million unique people per year. And when hurricanes come, everybody can use it, and anybody can link to it. But then also a system on the back end that provides, a reliable form of weather alerting and reporting for enterprise companies. And so it's been very satisfying. I'm honored to be able to do this full time, and I just want to keep making it better and better. So I appreciate your time talking through the company history.
What's your vision of where you're going to go in the future?
Well, Stormpulse in the future is just getting started. So, this year we really focused on still trying to be everything to everybody. We have a product mix that really appeals to any kind of company in the United States that wants some kind of weather alerting. But going forward, that there are certain niches that are most affected by weather. Some of those are in the oil and gas industry, so in the Gulf of Mexico. We know that our system could be even better for those people there that are watching the weather constantly, whether it's ocean currents or those block assignments and oil rigs out in the Gulf of Mexico. Tremendous opportunity there for us to expand the product. One other feedback that we get is we have a lot of companies, FedEx is one, and there's a lot of mainstream companies that you've heard of, but there's a lot of logistics people that are constantly moving, materials around, supplies around, supply chain management, who have no kind of weather alerting currently for all these routes that they're running. So amazingly enough, what we learn in talking to businesses, and that's something that we spent thousands of hours doing, is just talking to our customers and our visitors. They may have a critical trucking line that goes from, Atlanta to Birmingham. But right now, because the way the enterprise weather vendors have, offered them products, there really isn't anything where they can just jump on the web and in 20 minutes have a alerting solution for that stretch of highway. So we'd like to release something that's focused specifically on a better alerting system for people that have materials that are moving around and always need to be aware of the who, what, when, where, and why in relation to the weather. And then there's also, other opportunities and partnerships we'd like to pursue. I think that from a standpoint of a business, I really still consider 2006 to 2011, as big a stretch that is, as kind of an R&D phase for the company. And now it's time to really double down on the niches that really value weather the most. Continuing to offer a general purpose tool for any business, but starting to really zero in on the people that are even more underserved and going after those markets and those customers and making them ridiculously happy.